Hi, I'm Carol Zelkin, the Executive Director of the IMCCA. This has certainly been a year like no other. I'd like to thank our vendor members, our end user members, and our event sponsors for supporting our mission and helping provide continuous education and support throughout the pandemic. We felt it was our duty to inform and educate everyone about this medium which we've embraced for many years. Our members have come through this crisis with flying colors. As we mark the one-year point of the pandemic lockdown for most of Europe and North America, we wanted to create something like a video time capsule. This way, further generations, and us a few years from now, can look back at it and hear our thoughts and see our faces as we pass through this milestone. I thank our members, our analyst friends, and everyone who helped contribute ideas for this project, which we're calling our IMCCA Pandemic Coda. As we hear everyone's feelings, let's please take a moment to remember the hundreds of thousands of innocent souls we lost in the crisis, and mourn what we've lost just as we celebrate what we have gained. Thank you for your support, our effort over the years, and we can't wait to see you again in person at one of the many events we conduct or attend.
Greetings everyone, Dave Danto here. This project was very important to me. I felt that after living through the worst pandemic, certainly in my lifetime, and all of our lifetimes, I think, having a time capsule and an ability to sort of put some closure on it so that we could always go back and look at it, and history could go back and look at it would be very important. You know, there's a lot to consider. We have a lot to mourn. We mourn the loss of friendship and getting together at conferences and getting together with family and hugging and shaking hands and being the kind of human beings that we are. We mourn the tremendous loss of life and injury and horror that the evil of this pandemic brought about on us. But we also learned. We learned that, you know, we were right all along, that collaborative communication, video conferencing, this type of technology that we all work with will support knowledge workers remotely in a model that's more productive than having to commute every day in and out of an office. We learned that all the scapegoating that took place for remote workers over the years was completely wrong and unfair. And we've now accepted that as this has become strategy within the industry, that companies are shedding real estate and we will be in a hybrid working model going forward. And we learned that our industry could step up when push comes to shove after, you know, the backbiting that took place over the first month or so, that everybody was in this together. And platforms and hardware manufacturers and software manufacturers all came together to really try and provide for the general good of people to get through this situation. So I hope these videos will give you a reminder and give you some thoughts as to what my industry colleagues were thinking, and that we can look back on it in a few years and understand what we've learned and understand that this may happen again, as I predicted in 2014, that we may all be told to go home and stay home on a dime, and we all need to be prepared with the correct infrastructure and products and services to be able to do that. So thanks very much. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of this, and always reach out if I can help you with anything.
Hi there, this is Dr. Tracy Brower. You know, the pandemic has been really, really hard, and it makes me think of the word emergency. The root of the word emergency is emerger, meaning to rise up or out. This has definitely been an opportunity for us to build our perspectives, to learn, and to build our resilience as well, and bond with people in new ways, having come through something really difficult, appreciating our connections in new ways. The office will be really important going forward. It'll be about safety and belonging and productivity and comfort and control. Chances are we'll have more opportunities to work in a flexible way than we ever have, but we will love to come together face to face with each other, to do good work, to roll up our sleeves together. And a really big place where we get our happiness. One of our secrets to happiness at work is really through relationships and through doing great work together. This is our opportunity for new beginnings, for more resilience, and for starting again with appreciation for our connections, for our communication, and for each other.
Hello, this is Dan Farisi, editor of Sound and Communications Magazine and editorial director of ITAV Report. When I think about the COVID-19 pandemic 1 year on, I am reminded of the fact that we collectively as an industry, as a commercial AV family, have been reminded of the need to continue to evolve and adapt. It's really been a trial by fire for many organizations, be they AV integrators, end user technology manager organizations, or media companies, about how to adapt a business model and change an approach depending on new needs and new customer demands. I think integrators have largely begun to rise to the occasion. They're familiarizing themselves with things like remote classrooms and hybrid environments, not just focusing on in-person venue verticals. I think end user technology managers have done a remarkable job serving incredibly difficult challenges like remote education and remote workforces. And I think they're even continuing to improve. And media companies like Sound and Communications obviously are continuing to evolve and embrace digital strategies, multimedia approaches, and new ways of reaching people where they are to meet their needs. So hopefully that's something we've all learned and something we've all come to embrace coming out of the pandemic. The need to adapt, the need to evolve, the need to recognize that the ways things used to be and the ways that we used to approach different challenges may not be the best any longer. So here's to evolution and adaptation and continuing to move along with the trends.
Hey everyone, Neil Fleuster, Product Director here at Poly. I'm honoured to be part of this time capsule project for the IMCCA. For me, lockdown has been interesting to just see the moves and the changes of personal life, work life, and the blend together. The technology that we had at Poly was really ready for action. You know, our headsets are our personal video devices that we've introduced with the new P series. And for me personally, I've launched my own YouTube channel and doing a live stream every Monday to try and help educate and to spread the message, because we can't go to trade shows and meet people in person. I think the interesting dynamic that we saw was, in 2020 when it first hit, the technology, the environments were kind of cobbled together, that mass evacuation from the office, and whatever you had was okay. But as we go forward in 2021 and people are doing and working from home more permanently, and hybrid working and remote first working is becoming more of a thing, the technology is catching up. And again, it's no longer good enough, is no longer acceptable. You need that premium high-end home broadcast studio setup that obviously we provide here at Poly. Please follow me and hook up with me on the social networks, and I'll see you on the next time capsule, hopefully.
Hi, fellow IMCCA members. I'm Andrew Gross.
I'm Marla Suttenberg.
And I'm Jeff Statura.
Over the past year, unified communication and collaboration kept its promise in ways we always knew it could.
At work, video collaboration helped an incredible variety of businesses continue to do business. Deals were done, projects completed, teams who never met in person accomplished remarkable things.
At home, family and friends use the technology and services we create to stay connected and close, at a time when staying connected and close meant everything. It's truly gratifying to see all that video collaboration makes possible, and it's been just as meaningful to be reminded of what it can't replace.
Moments in the office kitchen, the surprise birthday party in the conference room, and of course, the hugs of family. So here's to pushing what we do further and to being together again soon.
Cheers!
Cheers!
Hi, this is Robert Haley with Compunetics. We'd like to thank the IMCCA for affording us this opportunity to reflect on the last 12 months and to consider our role and the role of this industry during that COVID period. I don't think any of us could forget early 2020 when the collective business community effectively looked over at us and said, "You're on." And whether it be through HIPAA-compliant healthcare solutions, reimagining government services, or enabling our children's continued education, this group got creative, and you got to work. The entire industry really stepped it up during the pandemic period. But now, we need to turn our attention and our focus to the longer-term impact. As people return to work, hybrid work environments will generate new requirements, requiring new solutions. Compunetics is very pleased to have been able to assist during these trying times, but we really look forward to working with you, this industry, and our customers to re-envision and re-engineer this new collaborative future.
Hi, this is Blair Pleasant, President and Principal Analyst of Confusion. One of my big takeaways from the past year is how our industry came together to help businesses and organizations around the world. Now, of course, the world relied on video communications, unified communications and collaboration tools that let people work from anywhere, contact centers to get information, and CPaaS capabilities that made it easy to create apps for things like curbside pickup and delivery. But what really impressed me was the way the vendors in these areas really stepped up to help out during the pandemic. A huge number of vendors helped out by offering free services or reduced prices to help businesses and organizations move to the cloud or to set up their business to enable work from home. And in fact, I kept an ongoing list of vendors that offered free or discounted services, and there were about 70 companies included in this list. We saw UC, collaboration, and contact center vendors offer not just free services, but also work from home reference guides, tips on how to safely return to the office, guidance on best practices for the new work from home workforce, and they really helped out in many, many ways. And going beyond that, many companies, particularly cloud contact center vendors, are now using their technology to help with COVID-19 contact tracing and to help local governments and agencies schedule vaccine and follow-up appointments. So I'm really proud about how the industry stepped up to help out during a trying time and how these companies and technologies are making an impact. So kudos to our industry.
Hi everybody, Tom Arbuthnot of Modality. I think in terms of lessons this year, obviously it's been a very challenging year for everybody. We've learned a lot about home working, and yes, it's been forced upon us at scale, but I hope we take away that it is entirely possible and it does have some upsides. You know, we get lots of family time, maybe too much in some cases this year. We get to commute less, waste less time commuting, less impact on the environment. And we've proven that, you know, geographically diverse teams can achieve a lot and remote working can achieve a lot. So I hope that we take away from this that home working is definitely viable and that it can add a lot of benefits to individuals as well as companies. We'll go back to some kind of hybrid, I'm sure, but I hope that we maintain the lessons that we can achieve a lot remotely. Hope everybody stays safe and well, and talk to you all soon.
Hello there, my name is Stephanie Atkinson and I'm with Compass Intelligence. So there has been a lot of crazy things, that we've experienced in 2020, and I think a lot of lessons learned. So a few things I want to talk about. What did we learn as an industry? I think for the technology industry and even enterprise or B2B, what we just experienced essentially was the largest, I'm a researcher, right, by heart. We just experienced the largest test case, the largest sample size for remote work, work from home, remote learning, everything remote, right? So I think that's the biggest thing that we've learned, is that we are quite capable. Businesses have learned that, hey, I'm going to keep my staff at home and we can be productive. And I think that that's been a win-win for a lot of businesses, and they just will never go back to the way it was. And I'm hearing about some hybrid, some folks will go back, but I think for the most part, work from home is here to stay.
Hi, Adrian Cottrell from Daily Do. Wow, what a year it's been, when many of our traditional norms have been upended. I was one of those people who preferred to text or email than use the phone, and I certainly never considered using something like FaceTime. Now, like many of you, my world revolves around Zoom. Our annual roadshows are now replaced with Zoom calls in the morning with Australia and Southeast Asia. The days are spent talking to people in Europe, and in the evenings, obviously, we spend time talking to people in America. Our home office has improved. We now have ring lights, better cameras, better microphones, and remote control facilities. Whilst I'm still a big believer in face-to-face events, and they will return in 2021, remote collaboration is the one thing from the past year that is really here to stay?
Hi, Dan Freeman, VDO 360, and I just wanted to, one, express my appreciation to the IMCCA for putting this together. Two, we need to start looking forward. What are we going to be doing next? What are the new, what are these new video conferencing spaces going to look like? I don't think we're going to be calling them huddle rooms anymore, but what are we going to be calling them? How are we going to do this? How are we going to look forward to changing things? I believe that we have a great opportunity to help society out as a whole, and I think we can do something about it. So let's look forward to the challenges that these two new type of spaces are going to bring, and the challenges of keeping everybody moving forward in a safe and sane manner. All right, cheers, bye.
I am Dr. S. Ann Erin, President of Telemanagement Resources International and the founding chairperson of IMCCA. COVID has shown us how adaptable we are as a society when we are forced to change. We are fortunate to have the technology in place to communicate anytime from anywhere. Naysayers now realize people can be equally or more productive when working from home. We befriended technology, and there's no going back. We are accelerating the digital transformation. Family may be the best medicine, and it matters more than we realized. Organizations now know a comprehensive plan is needed to go back to an office environment safely. Technology will play a central role in maximizing effectiveness. To be successful returning to the workplace, form a multidisciplinary team, develop a system to collect data, complete a mapping plan, understand limitations of space and people, and communicate. IMCCA is here to help.
Hi, good afternoon. It's Dave Fitzgerald from Barco. Thanks to Dave and Carol for pulling this together. Appreciate the opportunity to talk with everybody today. Miss everyone. A couple of things that I'd like to share on what we thought we have learned throughout this special time called the pandemic. One is how productive we can be with less distractions, and how productive we are even if we're away from the office and not so much in person. How things are going to be different and maybe streamlined with fewer days in an office in the future, but different, but it'll be recognizable and it'll be soon. How much we miss being in person. It's a really human need, and I think that we really miss that, and we'll look forward to getting back to that. I think that how much sit-stand desks and larger monitors and better audio, better video can make for our work life, both in a virtual environment and in person. And also highlights the fact that we're going to have to be very comfortable with lots of different digital platforms, and not just video conferencing, but other collaboration platforms. We'll need to make sure we're very familiar and be able to be productive with those. We also, I think, have realized how much live events really can't be replaced by virtual events. I've seen some really good ones lately, and they've done a good job. But I think that it's never going to replace what a live event or conference is going to offer everyone. I think most companies, it's highlighted for most companies that they have to be more aware and take more action around the work-life balance and about employee wellness. I think we'll see a big surge in that. We also realize how important dogs are. We got our first dog, so Larry has been with us for a couple of months now, and it's made a big difference. And I think just like to end with what I'm looking forward to most is to see my kids and my family a little bit more often. We've only seen them a limited amount over this period. I miss walking in New York City. I can't wait to walk in New York City. I miss the steps and maybe a little travel. So with that, from Barco, I'd like to say may the road rise to meet you, and I look forward to seeing everyone real soon. Bye.
This last year was challenging, but it also proved that we are all extremely resilient. We are creative. We saw that in employees, educators, students, frontline workers. And through this process, we also discovered some new and futuristic ways of working and learning The benefits of hybrid work and hybrid learning are clear. We cannot afford to forget them, and going forward, we need to keep building up on that. Also, in the past, we have focused a lot on driving productivity. Today, employee engagement, inclusivity, well-being are equally important, and it's critical that going forward, we continue having those conversations.
Hi, my name is Brent Kelly. I am the President and Principal Analyst at Kelco Incorporated. As I have experienced the pandemic over the last year, I have noticed that the video tools that we now have are awesome and they have amazing reach. With one single Microsoft Teams license, I was able to produce a family history event that reached over 650 people. I also serve as the president of the Sunday school in my local church congregation. We have 8 classes that occur simultaneously. I've had the opportunity to train people that we normally would not think of as technically savvy on how to use video. These are stay-at-home mothers, grandmothers, retired gentlemen. These people are now able to use video proficiently to do screen sharing, to show video clips, and they also use the virtual backgrounds. Finally, my mother-in-law is over 80 years old. She is in an assisted living center and has had to be quarantined during a large portion of this past year. Through the use of FaceTime video and Zoom video, we have been able to maintain our social connections with her even though we've had to be physically distanced. Where do I see video going into the future? Well, we are social creatures by nature, and so while we're going to continue to have a lot of video meetings, I see personally the number of in-person meetings increasing dramatically as well as soon as more and more people are vaccinated and we lose the fear of catching a virus by having these in-person meetings. The second thing is the use of dedicated devices for video has been fantastic, and there's some new ones that are out and they're really great so that I don't have to provide my own processing. These devices come enclosed, they can do auto updates and those kinds of things. They're really great for using video. So I see a dramatic rise in the use of personal video devices. The third thing is that the extensive use of desktop video I think will spill over into the conference room, and by that I mean it's really quite easy to launch a desktop video meeting and to join those meetings. I think we're going to need to see the same thing in the conference room. I suspect that we're probably going to see a lot more facial recognition in order to start meetings, and we'll also see a lot more of the vocal commands in order to start and control our video meetings. Thank you.
In 2020, we all mastered the art of the pivot. We came into the year bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, plans set, and then everything changed. The way that we interacted with each other, with our customers and prospects, all shifted online. And so while this posed a lot of challenges to us as marketers, we all heard of webinar fatigue, it also created a lot of opportunity. We had to find new ways to engage with each other beyond the standard trade show or webinar. So we turned to new event formats, we tried different tactics like podcasts, and saw more personal interactions to really stay connected. So 1 year later, we have learned how to challenge the status quo and how video can help preserve the human element in our relationships. So hopefully these are lessons that will stick with us as we move into what's next.
Good afternoon, Chris Mayoni here. Let's review what we've learned in this soon-to-be post-COVID pandemic times. First, let me start by saying what a boom to desktop video conferencing. We've seen the likes of Zoom, Teams, and other desktop platforms hit mainstream and reach just about every person with a computer, tablet, or smartphone. During these interesting times, we were force-fed remote working, remote learning, remote happy hours, and remote birthday parties. Some for the better, some maybe not. If all goes well, I hope to see you all in person at InfoComm in October. Until then, stay safe, be well, and congratulations. You are making it through the first and hopefully last worldwide pandemic of your lifetime.
Hi, David Maldo from Let's Do Video. And I almost didn't do this because I usually like to keep it light. I like to joke around. And there was just nothing funny about last year. It was really terrible. It was just really, really awful. And I just didn't want to talk about it. Then I thought, and I realized that this community throughout it all kind of stayed positive. Whether on Twitter or whatever, I was always seeing people supporting each other, people helping each other, people being positive. And I really appreciate that. And I appreciate being part of this community. So thank you.
Hi, it's Dave Michaels from Talking Points. My thoughts on the past year? Thanks for asking. I think last year was a year of discovery. Specifically, just how much bullshit we've been putting up with. Things like commuting turns out to have been optional all along. At the end of that commute were things like cubicles, open floor plans, noise. All of that was optional, as were shoes and pants. Business travel was optional. I've had no business travel in the past year, and I got no complaints about that. I'm happy to say I forgot the name of my dry cleaner. Now we're even. Now, some don't like the fact that work and home boundaries blur a bit more this past year, but that was already happening with the smartphone. It also works both ways. It's nice to be able to get some errands done and some personal things done during the day instead of that after 5 rush. So this past year, we have learned how effective we can be remotely, and I think that's good. And all those things that the video and meetings industry has been saying for the past 20 years turns out to have been true. Those are my thoughts.
Hi, my name is Sean Robinson, VP of Product for Zilliqa, and here's what we learned last year through this global pandemic. We learned that life and the world is a very uncertain place, and therefore our organization needs to continue to operate in a very agile fashion. We also learned that organizations can effectively function with everybody working remote, and how UC enables that, and as a result are seeing tremendous acceleration in the adoption of UC technologies, which is great for everyone in our industry. As a new member, Zilliqa learned how truly valuable the IMCCA organization is, and we learned a tremendous amount from all of you that were willing to spend some time with us discussing the challenges of meeting room technology and UC rollouts. Your insight that you provided was extremely helpful in a lot of the products that we have in development right now, so thank you. We're excited to be a part of the IMCCA family and the friendships that are evolving as a result, and we're very much looking forward to seeing you all in person in the very, very near future. Stay safe, everyone.
Hi, Danny Rogers from ABI SPL. So what has the industry learned over the last year or so through the pandemic? Well, firstly, I think that all those roles where they said you couldn't work remotely, well, clearly you can work remotely and you can be productive and you can be creative. I think also we've learned that all those years of waiting for an inflection point for video has now truly happened. It's just taken a pandemic for that to happen. I think we've also learned a new noun for video, and that noun is called Zoom. To do Zoom as opposed to do a video call. I think what I mourn is the fact that we've lost a lot of time in terms of connecting with our friends, family and colleagues, but that will pass and that will come back. And if we learn and we take the good learnings from that about life-work balance, then we'll all be in better shape for it. And I think what's my hope really going forward? My hope is that we've really taken some good learnings and we have time to reflect from the last 12 months. We don't all run at 100 miles an hour. We don't send 1,000 emails a day, and we take time to really be more considerate. We improve our communication, and we're more considerate about our planet along the way. That will be good. That will be a good start.
Hi, this is Ken Scatoro, President and COO of Yorktel. What a year 2020 was, and as we look forward to attacking 2021, we've got a theme here regarding the 2021 year, and it's win or learn. And hopefully together we can have a lot of wins, and hopefully we're going to learn a lot of new things about how we're working in a post-COVID environment. What did we learn in 2021? Well, we knew we needed to have better scale and reliability across all of our processes and certainly all of our systems. We also needed to understand how our teams can provide live events in a post-COVID environment. How are we doing these virtual broadcasts in here? We've learned that we have to ensure that the same type of service that people are providing in a home environment is the same level of service that people are getting in their work environment. And lastly, we've got to ensure that our most valuable asset, our people, are being challenged, that they're happy, and they've got a comfortable workplace. So we're looking forward to a great 2021. We're looking forward to engaging with you, and hopefully we can see you on the other side of this. Be well.
So my greatest takeaway or takeaways from this past year of the COVID-19 pandemic is that the human experience, whether it's work, our home lives, is the most important thing. We saw companies begin to reckon with and come to terms with the fact that their employees are not just their employees, but whole people, full human beings with entire lives that includes their kids, whole families, a full set of responsibilities, and what have you. And you have to prioritize them, their mental health, and overall well-being. This past year we had to deal with a public health crisis and also a reckoning with the systemic injustices and racism that plagues our country. So businesses are realizing they have to take a stand for their people and how they're actually experiencing work and life in general. We learned that remote work can work, right? But more than that, the flexibility to work remote requires commitment and full support from the business. That includes the right technology and easy access to resources. So it's about putting people first and focusing on their experiences, and that spans from your employees to your customers, an entire ecosystem of partners.
Hello, my name is Reggie Smith, and I am the Chief Executive Officer for the United States Distance Learning Association. On behalf of our board and all of our members around the world, greetings. What we learned in a post-pandemic world are three things. We learned that we have to shape our info in a new way. 2, mental health is critical and we need to address it as an industry. And 3, some old issues such as broadband access, we really need to focus as a country and as a world to resolve. With that being said, we look forward to a better 2021, 22, and more. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Gary Sorrentino, and I'm the Global Deputy CIO for Zoom. 2020 is the year that tested us in ways we could have never imagined. We were forced to completely rethink the way we work, the manner in which we communicated. We had to become more creative in how we can collaborate, and to think of new ways to interact with those around us, and of course, live our lives. Besides learning new ways to do things, very much of what applied was already partially in the works, and the pandemic just accelerated programs, projects, and transformations that were already either started or fully being considered. We've utilized new and creative ways to stay connected and how to interact with one another. From collaborating over a virtual whiteboard to attending virtual birthdays, holidays, and other events that normally would have been in person. 2020 showed us the future a little sooner than expected, and that a work from anywhere hybrid model is clearly the path that most knowledge workers prefer. At Zoom, we strive to deliver happiness to our customers and want to help you as you look towards the future and the positive changes that it holds for your company, employees, and clients. I would like to thank all the leaders who looked beyond the way things were and opted to help us move forward in these unprecedented times. As the return to office starts to become a reality for all of us, I want to wish you all a safe, healthy, and very productive 2021. Thank you so very much.
Hello, IMCCA. My name is Tim Albright from Aviation. Couple things. So I'm going to do, this has been an interesting and challenging year. One of the things that I think that we as an industry have realized, and we've learned over the last 12, 13 months, is how incredibly dynamic our industry is and how resilient we are, how resourceful we are. We came into this, and the country, the world came into this, not really knowing what we were doing, what this would look like. The original forecast was give us 2 weeks to flatten the curve. And 2 weeks turned into 4 weeks, which turned into months, and now a year. We as an industry, though, have survived. We've thrived. Not all of it, right? There has certainly been pain and suffering throughout our industry, but we as AV tweeps and AV professionals, we've been able to evolve. The other thing that I wanted to say though is what we hope, and that is the one thing that we've hoped, and I hope at least, is that we understand and we value the connections that we've made, not just in the last year, but over the years. We at AV Nation have learned that value and the ability for us to connect virtually through the technology that our friends and neighbors get to put together. It's helped us through this, right? Whether that's a virtual happy hour, or it's a Twitter conversation, or it's simply an email exchange. Keeping those connections, those personal one-on-one connections, is incredibly valuable. And I hope that as we come out of this and as we start getting back and seeing each other in real life, that we remember that these are not only our colleagues, but also our friends. And these are the folks that will help us through difficult times to come. So for all of us here at AV Nation, we appreciate it. I'm Tim Albright, saying that I hope to see you in real life soon.
After many years of our industry wishing it, 2020 finally became the year for video, and we weren't ready. With supply chain problems, product shortages, security flaws, and overwhelmed networks, we were scrambling. As a result, I've been impressed that many companies have been able to quickly pivot and many new solutions have been developed, while existing products have been adapted to address these issues. We've learned through this that human interaction really matters and that remote workers are no longer considered second-class citizens. Products and services are being developed to elevate home-based knowledge workers, and it's my hope that remote working continues to flourish for all the right reasons once this pandemic is behind us. Thank you, and stay safe.
Hi, I'm Erwin Lazar, President and Principal Analyst at Metrigy Research, and I'd like to contribute what we hope in the future as a result of what we've learned, I guess, from the pandemic. And our hope going forward is that we have finally hit a point where people can work effectively from home. The question of whether or not work from home is viable, I think, has finally been answered. And I think my biggest hope is that communication collaboration technologies will continue to evolve so that people can effectively be on a level playing field, able to engage with one another, share ideas, create content, regardless of where they're located.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that we can use the lessons that we have learned through this very challenging year to make work better, more productive, more inclusive, and to help everyone achieve a better life balance. Specifically, I hope that we've learned that better video and the ability to one click to quickly join a meeting does not guarantee that that meeting is worthwhile. Structure, having a purpose, an agenda, engagement, full participation, and follow-up. That's what makes meetings worthwhile. I hope that we can better appreciate the value of analytics to help us understand what is working and what is not, where more communication or training may be required, where people are struggling so that we can reach out and offer a helping hand. And lastly, I'm hopeful now that we have seen into our coworkers' houses, seen their bookshelves, their pets, their partners, that we will remember and embrace the humanness of all of us as we continue to deliver technical solutions.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mark Peterson from Shen, Milson & Wilkie, and one of the takeaways I'm thinking about from last year and what I've learned and don't want to forget is the sense of mindfulness. I'm sure if you were like me, that this last year being confined has made you become more sensing and feeling about the immediate moment, about the environment, about caring for family and the interest of others. So while I look forward to the face-to-face interaction with all of you and with coworkers and with clients and showing my sense of appreciation of being together in person, I hope we don't take the easy way out. I hope we don't forget the lessons learned and to go back to the way things were. We really need to press on with which I think will be even harder work without the pandemic forcing us to make improvements in the workplace, to fix the underlying issues that have positioned remote work as secondary. And the new demands that we have back when we're in the office hopefully we won't forget about being considerate. And collaboration really is about human beings listening and being mindful with each other. So while I hope the web platforms become more interoperable and less discrete islands, and I'm looking forward to the blending of digital experience and real in-person experience becoming difficult to tell apart, I hope we remember that all these tools that we've used to get out of this situation have been focused on speed and efficiency. And we've been pressing that throttle to the floor. And the next advancements in technology are going to be based on what people are looking out for and needing when they come back to work and collaborating. And hopefully we can steer these decisions to thinking about developing kindness and awareness and sensitivity and creativity, which in the past really seemed secondary to business. But I hope we all have learned, being in our remote little confined corners of the world, that those are also really important factors that help work happen. So hopefully we can all contribute to that and guide these technology advancements and not just be more productive, but be more thoughtful and considerate. Thank you.
Evan here. Thanks for the opportunity to share my perspective on the pandemic. Obviously a year for the ages and one in which we'll remember the rest of our lives. In no particular order, my takeaway is remote work is here to stay. It's no longer the domain of outliers like ourselves, but the fundamental shift to flexible work, remote work, hybrid work is here to stay. Number two, I'd say collaboration has now become king, not just the adoption of collaboration tools, but the whole collaboration mindset in terms of distributed teams, remote teams, teams across time zones. We've always worked in that manner, but collaboration has now come to be of paramount importance to success in the enterprise. Three, I think the pandemic brought back the notion of social media. Your social media isn't just a news timeline, but it's a way to connect, engage, and discover new people, relationships with folks, co-workers, and the rise of social audio, things like Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces, will be a phenomenon that will be quite sustained. And of course, video. The days of hiding behind our video cameras are over. We're all much more comfortable with ourselves on video and in communicating over video out of bare necessity. Thanks for all you do, and I look forward to hearing from the other folks.
When I think about the last year, I know that a lot of people will have taken the lesson away that we succeeded in holding off a lot of the problems because technology was there to solve it. What I really hope people also learned was that technology is not a magic bullet. People are at the end of that technology. People that have rights, people that have interests, people that have a stake in the way things are done. And I hope we think about things starting with the people and not starting with the technology as the end-all be-all.
Hi, this is Gary Kay from Rave, and for my segment, I want to talk about what we lost. We lost our amazing accountant, Kelly Johnson. She got sick in May, really sick in June, and died in July. And it happened, it seemed like instantaneously. It was a terrible loss, obviously, for her family. I know that they're still grieving heavily, but it was a terrible loss for our company as well. We lost someone who'd been with me for 15 years. She was sort of like the mom of the company. And she was more than an accountant and more than an HR person. She was like a confidant. She was just a friend. She was just a great person. Everybody loved her. It was a terrible loss for us. I don't know that the year could have been worse for us when we think about losing a person that's that close to everyone. I hope that none of us have to go through that again, but 2020 will always be remembered as the year we lost Kelly Johnson. That's it.
Hi, it's Joe Way here, Director of Learning Environments at USC, co-founder of HEDMA. What a year this has been, huh? Highs and lows and a lot more lows. But out of that has come hope and encouragement and love of one another. We've always talked in the AV industry about community, but we demonstrated over this last year. I felt it personally and forever thankful for all of you all. We know that we saw our community come together through messages of encouragement in articles and social media and raising funds for one another in all different capacities. And that's really the hope that I see and love of our people. Let's not lose sight of that as we come post-pandemic. Let's remember this time where we really came together to encourage and demonstrate that. So I just encourage you to just stop for a moment. Reach out to someone and say thank you. Ask if they need help, because we're all coming out of this. Let's continue to grow as one AV family. Bye now.